All right, guys. So this is my first time going live on here, but I did want to talk about the Tyler Robinson pretrial and kind of what's going on, give some updates on it. I'm using my work headphones because I didn't have a microphone. I'm also working from home right now, so hopefully I don't get any phone calls. But right now, the pretrial proceedings, they have mainly centered on just the preliminary hearing, right, for Utah's 4th District Court, and, obviously, we're not determining guilt or innocence at this moment, but we are deciding whether the prosecutors have presented enough evidence that they can proceed to trial, so probable cause. Robinson, he's 23. He's charged with the September 10th, 2025 fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. I wouldn't say he was an activist, but okay. During an event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, prosecutors have charged him with aggravated murder and several related offenses, including obstruction of justice and witness tampering, and are seeking the death penalty. Robinson has not yet entered a plea. I'm getting something going on over here, and I don't know what it is. Okay, I don't know. I'm new to this, so forgive me if I'm, making mistakes or something. I I guess I could. All right, we could do better lighting. Maybe that works better. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Let's finish up. Now, the purpose of the preliminary hearing, so that began on July 6th, and it is designed to determine whether prosecution has enough evidence to justify a criminal trial, and they're not required to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at this stage. So it is just a reasonable person looks at the evidence and says, yes, this is enough to definitely go to trial and prosecute. Now, the evidence that has been presented by the prosecutors, and this is according to testimony and exhibits introduced during the hearing, they presented surveillance video that they argue shows that Robinson on or near a rooftop overlooking the event before the shooting. They have testimony describing what investigators believed was a sniper perch on a nearby rooftop, including impressions in the gravel consistent with someone lying prone. They have DNA evidence, and they say it links Robinson to the Mauser rifle recovered after the shooting. They also have ballistics evidence connecting the recovered rifle to the shooting, although the defense disputes the strength of those conclusions. Now, the digital evidence, which includes messages, online communications that prosecutors contend demonstrate planning and admissions of responsibility. And the testimony from Robinson's former roommate, boyfriend, Lance Twiggs, he told investigators that Robinson later expressed regret, said he wished he had not committed the shooting, and Twiggs received immunity in exchange for his testimony, limited immunity. I don't know what kind of immunity he got, but apparently it's limited. Then we have the defense argument, which they challenge several aspects of the prosecution's case, which includes the reliability of DNA testing and forensic conclusions, whether a bullet fragment can be conclusively matched to the alleged murder weapon, and then the admission of edited surveillance video, which contains zooms and annotations, which they argue it could be misleading. The credibility and interpretation of the statements that were attributed to Robinson, and that's got to come from people like Candace Owens and Megan Kelly, even Tucker Carlson. pushing out that conspiracy theory that the text messages seemed made up. The feds wrote them. So the defense is going to jump on that and use it, I think. Now, the earlier efforts to limit the media access so that they could protect Robinson's right to a fair trial. Um, and it's a highly publicized case. I do know that the judge did determine that the cameras could be in the courtroom, and they absolutely should be. This is a massive case, and this went worldwide, not just in Utah, not just in America, worldwide. And we all have a right to see that trial and that evidence and to know what's going on. We have that right. Now, courtroom issues that they're having, it did attract public attention, and the court considered disputes over whether graphic video evidence should be shown publicly, how much of the witness interviews and recordings should be released, and also balancing transparency with his right to a fair trial. But Judge Tony Graff did allow some evidence to be viewed only on courtroom monitors or with redactions. I don't know if that will change if they actually go to trial, but it should, in my opinion. Now, as of July 10th, today, the preliminary hearing has concluded its evidentiary phase, and Judge Tony Graff is expected to hear oral arguments before deciding whether prosecutors have established probable cause for the case to proceed to trial. And Robinson remains presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court, which obviously we know that. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. Let me check something. I hope it understood what I just wrote. Okay. So, I use Chat GPT to get this because Chat GPT is pretty decent at getting me what I want. A breakdown of the evidence that was presented by the prosecutors during the preliminary hearing. Um, so, with the DNA evidence, what we have recovered from the alleged murder weapon and related items was presented as linking Robinson to the rifle used in the shooting. And then the response from the defense, they argue that the DNA evidence is not definitive and they question the testing methods and conclusions. Like, since when do we test that? I I don't know. Um, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I don't even know if this is my right email or not. I'm trying to do several things at once, so I don't think that's going to work. Oh, darn. Thank you for calling Merchant Services. My name is Lauren, and I'll be the account specialist assisting you today. May I